Bam, we're live. Yesterday, that post I made on IG, I had no idea my shirt was that big until I watched the video. No idea. I don't know if Vindicate's just fucking with me or not. That was my WTF shirt, my custom WTF shirt. And then I'm watching. I felt like I was fighting with my shirt a little bit right before the lift, but I had no idea the shirt was so big. What's up, Damien?
How's it going?
Good. How are you, brother?
Doing good.
Hey, that's the spot.
Oh, yeah.
That's the spot. Your videos, your podcast. Where is that? Is that the wall of your house, or?
It's literally just like a corner I've set up for like all my interviews, like just out of the way a little bit.
Did you come up with that, or did someone say, "Hey, you should have a spot that's like the spot"?
No, someone convinced me. It was like, hey, you should really just set up a spot to have in your room. Actually, my wife was the one that like set everything up for me. So,
Oh shit, you're married.
oh yeah,
How old are you?
23.
Oh my god,
23, right?
you're taking
Yeah.
care of business.
Yeah, people always joke that I get my life in order real quick.
Yeah, that's wild. How long have you been married?
4 years? Been married 4 years in July, right? Yeah, 4 years in July.
Hey, congratulations. I'm 52, and the crowning achievement in my life is my relationship with my wife.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is the crowning achievement. I met her in college, like, I don't know, I was 22, 23, 24, something like that. And I was just chasing her because I was chasing beaver. And then it took me 5 years to make it work. And now it's 25 years, and it's great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a crowning achievement. You know what's funny is your audio is great from right there. And I watched the interview you did yesterday, and the guy's like, "This is my 438th show," and his audio was fucked up. And I'm like, "Yo, dude, yo, dude, 438 shows, and you still sound like you're coming from a tin can."
Bro, buy a microphone or something. Get something situated for yourself.
$40 on Amazon for the ass microphone. That's great.
Yeah, it works perfectly. I mean, most of the time I use just my AirPods and some I got from Walmart to just clear up my audio.
Is your microphone just that earpiece?
Yeah, it's just this earpiece right now.
God, it sounds so good.
Yeah, the AirPods, the Series 2 of the AirPods worked great as headphones. Well, microphones.
Yeah.
They're a little uncomfortable in the ear, but they work beautifully.
How are your ears from the fighting? I know you've done some other fighting too in the slap fighting. Is your hole closing up? Everyone I know who fights their hole, no, not yet.
Nah, that hasn't been that long for me, so still my ears and stuff are pretty good.
I've had a couple other guys on the show, some incredible slap fighters on the show, including the Crazy Hawaiian, I think a couple times. And then I saw, as I was digging into you, you know, you have the titles as the hardest slapper in slap fighting. And dude, it's different when you hit people.
Yeah, I get that a lot. It's been a big journey from transitioning into power slap from slap fight championships and, working on my technique, but I've really got it down, locked in, and feel like I'm up there when it comes to power.
Here goes the champ. This dude's never been knocked out.
No.
Brace yourself, people. Oh my boys, and I have 3 little boys, and we were watching the TV yesterday. I was doing research. I watched your fights for a couple hours and interviews. Tell me about this squatting technique. I like fitness and I like core to extremity, and obviously I know that in punching it comes from the hip. How did you develop this squat technique?
I was actually, when I first started, I was going to a karate dojo with my wife's little sister. So I was just going out there, participating. They said they were starting a boxing program, so I was doing a bit of that. But when I showed him my slap fight, he was like, "Oh, I got the perfect technique for you." So he got me into like a horse stance and was like, "Just drive your legs and use your core, and you'll have the best hit in the division." And I mean, I've built off of that, you know, tweaked it a little bit, but squatting down that low really helps me to transition my weight from one side to another when I'm striking.
And you know, I took this CrossFit Level 1 course, you know, when I was 34 years old, and I remember them just really emphasizing core to extremity, that every bit of your power comes from your fucking hip and
Yep.
exploding, and then generates outward uh,
Yep.
to the weaker muscle groups.
Yeah, that's exactly how I'm doing it. I'm driving with my hip and then having the rest of my body just is that's why I work out a lot. Like you see a lot of the guys just trying to put on mass because it's that hip movement, but also combined with your arm swing and that core tension. So it all pieces together and delivers a great final product here.
This is the fifth hit, right?
This was the fourth. I
Fourth
think
hit.
it was the fourth. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was round four.
Do you, Damien, can you remember every fight pretty well?
Yeah, pretty much every fight. I mean, if it's been a while, I've had like 8 fights now, 5 in this league, 3 in the previous, but I still remember pretty much all my fights.
And you get into these pretty wild positions that like pitchers get into.
Oh yeah, it's very uncomfortable. Like the way me and Dwayne and a lot of the higher level guys teach it, like sometimes for a lot of people they think you're supposed to be comfortable when you're striking, but we think the opposite. We think you should be uncomfortable. If it feels wrong, you're probably doing it right. Is usually what we're saying when we teach other fighters.
And dude, look how long your arm is.
Yeah, I have a pretty wide wingspan among my division. I think it was like 78 inches. So for
And
my height, I have very long arms.
and my kids, the first thing my kid said is, my 10-year-old goes, "That is a giant hand." Is it a giant hand?
It's honestly we've got some pretty big guys in here now, so it feels smaller like compared to these like freaking monsters that we got, but I still got a decent sized mitt on me.
God, it's wild. And your shoes right there, there's some what size shoe are you?
Uh those are my Air Forces. They're 16s.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I got some pretty big feet.
You're 6'2", 250?
At right now I'm walking around 260.
Are you making a little, are you flirting with heavyweights 265, 266?
Yeah,
Super
I've
heavyweight?
been telling them that I wanted to try going and taking the super heavyweight belt just because I don't want to cut to light heavyweight. So I've I've been like, hey, I'm willing to do it. Like I bulked up to 275 last February, and I've already cut back down. So it's just constantly going up, coming back down to my own division. But I'd really be interested in that super heavyweight title match.
Do you have a favorite lift in the gym? Like something that's like always in the rotation?
I'd have to say rows.
Like
The
seated
cable rows.
rows, like
Yeah,
seated
seated
cable rows?
rows. Yeah, I love seated cable rows.
And
It gets a lot of your back, and that's a lot of. I use a lot of back and core in my technique, so I do a lot of back workouts just in my. I work at a tree company, so a lot of what I do is like shoulders and back, so it all comes together really well. But
yeah,
seated rows are very nice.
I got this clip of you carrying a log. I can't wait to show it. So and you're so loose.
Oh yeah, it's you gotta be loose up until the point you strike. That's when you really tighten everything down because you don't want to hurt your hand or anything. So I'll keep it loose up until the point of contact, then I solidify that hand to strike through my opponent. Because you never want to be hitting on target, you want to be hitting past them. So you want to make sure you're strong enough to handle that. A lot of dudes hurt themselves.
Explain that to me. You don't wanna hit on target, you wanna hit past. What's that mean? Explain that to me.
A lot of guys, when they're aiming to strike someone,
Yeah.
they aim for right here, and that's where they stop. So they'll hit them, but they're not pushing through. And in this kind of sport, you're trying to rattle someone's brain, so you want to follow through. It's like any other combat sport. You just want to have that follow through whenever you're striking someone. So don't aim on target, but a little bit past them.
Gotcha. You're punching a hole through them.
Yep, pretty much.
Hey, I got all sorts of little questions like this. What do you think about this? They missed his head here. Should this guy have caught his head?
I mean, when they're Yeah, yeah. When they're
Like, at
catching,
least
they're
like this, right? Instead of catch his body, like
yeah. It's understandable why, because like it was round four. He was eating the other shots pretty well, so there it and he went down really fast. Like the video doesn't do it justice because it slows it down, but
yeah.
being up there, he just sank down. So it's you should be ready for that, but the catch is doing their best. They haven't done it. They haven't really messed up this hard in a while, so they've definitely improved from here.
Does he get talked to about that? Like, do you get in trouble for because when you go to Starbucks and or a coffee shop and you order something and they get your drink wrong and you're like, hey dude, you
Yeah,
had
like
you had one job. Your job up here at the register is to hear my order.
yeah, like come on. Now I'm sure they got a little bit of a talking to because a lot of the fans were calling them out on that. And any match I do is a title match right now, so there's a lot of eyes and publicity around my fights. So making mistakes like that kind of sucks, but just gotta learn from it, do better next time.
Damien, when you say the fans say something, like from the crowd, or you're just talking about the chatter online?
Both.
Both.
They'll be in the crowd yelling, and then you'll go online and see the comments like, "Dang, they really let him fall like that? Like, ain't no one catch? You got two catches right there. Ain't no one got was able to pick him up? Jeez."
I appreciate you saying that it happens way faster in person. If I was one of those catchers, I would be like, I would be, I would be kind of
Just
excited.
shocked.
I'd be kind of excited to catch the head. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if
Oh
have you
yeah,
ever done that for one of your friends or something, or a little kid? Like I have 3 little boys, and there's times I've dove and like just like I don't
yeah.
give a
Just
fuck about the
barely
body. I
saved
just
them.
catch
Yeah,
the
I have
head.
two
Yeah.
little
Oh,
brothers. Yeah, I
yeah.
have two little brothers, so I've definitely done that before.
Yeah. Crazy. You're in Florida.
Yep, Ruskin, Florida.
And where is Russ? Like I know
It's like
Orlando.
30 minutes, 40 minutes south of Tampa. I'm right between Tampa and Sarasota, Florida.
Okay, so and that's near the water.
Yep, we
Yeah.
got we got some pretty bad flooding last hurricanes. It came up right down to the neighborhoods because we have a river running by our house, so it flooded a couple neighborhoods down there.
I'm in California, and it seems like so many people are leaving California and going like to Florida and
I
Tennessee.
I grew up in California,
Oh, you did where?
San Diego, Oceanside area.
Oh, okay. San Diego's a good spot too.
Yeah, my dad was stationed on the military base out there, Camp Pendleton.
Ah, that's why you have your shit together. You got a military dad.
Yeah, I was a military brat, so there was no fuckery to be had. Just get your stuff done and keep moving.
So you're born in California?
I was born in Hawaii.
Okay. Wow, so many fighters with Hawaiian roots.
Yeah, it's weird how many fighters are Hawaiian or related to Hawaii in some way.
Yeah, that's crazy. Tell me. So, how old were you when you moved to California?
I think I was very young. I was like 3 or 4 when I moved to California, and then I was like 16 when I moved to Florida. But I've traveled a lot with my family. We have family all over the U.S., so we've done a lot of traveling.
In Oceanside isn't known as like the swanky part of San
Nah,
Diego. There's
yeah,
some
they
like
built it up a lot though. I went there a couple years ago, and they built it up a lot, but it's definitely not like the nice area. Like it's not La Jolla Beach or anything like that.
and some parts of it are pushed back. It's even got like that kind of Inland Empire, LA kind of like methy vibe too. Like it's like obviously there's the rich kids that are still there at San Diego, but it's also there's some wild shit in Oceanside too.
Oh yeah, there's definitely those back neighborhoods that we don't talk about on the news.
And what was and so did you go to the same did you grow up with the same cohort, elementary school, junior high, high school? No.
I've been to no one's asked about my education, but I've been to like I want to say 10 different schools while I was growing up. So I never went to like the same school 2 years in a row. I was always somewhere different. I was actually homeschooled for a little while too.
What years were that? I homeschool my kids.
Uh, I went to a kindergarten. I was homeschooled for first. We I went to a school for second grade. We moved to Florida in third grade when my dad was deployed. So I went to school there. Then when we came back, I went to a different school for fourth grade. I was homeschooled from 5th to 7th grade, skipped 8th grade, went to Palomar College and was homeschooled freshman year, went to Mission Vista High School sophomore year,
Mm.
and then I dual enrolled to complete my high school diploma whenever we moved back to Florida. So I never technically finished in a high school. I finished at a community college. And then I went to UCF, got my bachelor's.
UC, oh, University of Florida.
Yep.
You seem like socially advanced for a 23-year-old. You know what I mean? You seem,
I've lived a lot of life in the past couple of years, that's for sure.
and you've been forced every 6 months to a year to make new friends.
Pretty much. So I'm definitely good at, mingling, entering new social groups, social dynamics, and seeing, just how to fit in. And honestly, I just find that being kind to people and being nice and being that open person, just it goes a long way for any group of people.
And that being said, and you do have a very happy-go-lucky personality, but you're obviously can be serious as a heart attack. Did you fight a lot when you would switch schools?
I mean, I definitely got into a couple of fights. I was never really, I never started nothing, but I always finish it.
So if
So
someone wanted to test out the new kid, you were game.
oh yeah, my the way I was raised, my dad was told me never to get in a fight, but my mother always said if you get in a fight, make sure you win. So I just made sure to never lose.
And what is the key to never losing? I always tell my kids, like, hey, dude, if you have to hit someone, don't hit them once.
Usually just fighting dirty,
Yeah.
honestly. Uh,
Open
Hey,
with a
look over
kick.
there. Yeah, open with the kick. Most people ain't expecting a kick in a street fight. You kick someone, they're gonna be like, "What the hell?" And then you just dive them. It's just playing dirty sometimes. Like that's. I was a kid. I got up into some nonsense, so really just I try to forget about the nonsense I was getting up into because I definitely could have behaved better when I was growing up.
Are your parents religious, Damien? Were you brought up in the church?
I was brought up in a Christian household, so I went to church my entire life.
And is that still a part of your life?
It isn't anymore. Kind of grew out of the church scene, but definitely was just up until the time I moved. So pretty much my whole life I was spent in church.
You think it'll come back? Like, people go through these life cycles. Like, I'll always hear about like these, people in their like 20s, mid 20s, maybe a little bit older than you are, who all of a sudden are like, fuck, what's the meaning of life? What the fuck is the point of what I'm doing here on planet Earth? And then they go back to that. They'll be like, okay, I remember I was raised in a Christian household. I'm going to start like delving into that again. You think it'll come back in your future?
Probably not, just because I feel like that's looking for a meaning of life and something else when I already know what I'm trying to do with my life. I set goals, I either meet them or I try as hard as I can to get as close as I can to that goal. Like that's all I try to do is keep setting goals, keep meeting goals, and doing what makes you happy.
You say that with goals, but from watching podcasts and stuff that you've been in, I can also tell that you're a um you don't mind going with the flow. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
pull up, I'm gonna pull up this fight. This is your very first. I think if I did the research right, this is your very first fight. Can you tell me how you ended up here to kind of like show that, hey, this is against Frank the Tank, the most
Oh
experienced
yeah.
fighter in the world.
Oh my God. No one brings up this fight anymore. Yeah, I like I set my goals, but I ain't
This
against a
wasn't a
pit
goal,
stop.
right? This was just like, hey, you
Yeah,
walked into this.
yeah, no, I'm not against a quick pit stop somewhere else that seems interesting. Like, it's not taken away from nothing else, but I was like, why not? I saw them. So how it started was I saw the YouTube videos of JT and them making these sat fight competitions. I was like, this is insane. Like I was training for boxing at the time, so I was already trying to get into the fight scene one way or another. And I saw this sport. I was like, this is hilarious. This seems fun as hell. Just two dudes swinging at each other. This is my type of thing because I'm whenever I fight somebody, I'm always willing to take a hit to give a hit right back. So I saw this. I was like, this is amazing. And my wife was actually the one, well, girlfriend at the time, she was the one that convinced me to actually sign up and do this thing.
When you say convince you, what do you mean convince you? Like, and we'll come back to this clip. Like, you're like, should I do it? Like supportive
Yeah,
or
she was, because I was really interested in doing it, but it was such a big step, and I had the time, I had the resources to go out there and do it, but it was really just a commitment of taking the time out of my life and traveling and doing all these other things to go out and actually do it. And she was like, "Listen, if you are really interested in just like having a fun time, just try it out one time, see how you like it. Just push yourself to do it one time and see how it goes, and then go from there." And honestly, the best decision I ever made.
it sounds like you found the right lady.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
I'm earning some brownie points with this one, but she is amazing. She has helped me through every step of the way.
When I started this podcast, I didn't want to do it. I got fired from my job, and I was just basically raising my kids for 6 months. And my wife's like, "Hey, man, you should do a podcast. You're really good at it." I'm like, "That's cool. It's fine. I'm having fun raising the kids." And then she's like, "No, you're really good at it. Just go do it. Just go dig in." And here I am, 3, 4, 5,000 shows later.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's. I feel like that's always how something great starts. You just have that support in your life that just pushes you to do better.
I mean, your wife could have said to you, "Hey, Damien, you need to fucking go get a job at Starbucks. We need insurance." You know what I mean? Like she could, instead of like chasing some sort of dream or recognizing, like she could have been like,
Oh no,
she
no,
could have
that's
been
what
a
I'm saying.
second mom to you instead of
Yeah,
a wife.
yeah. Like, why would you do that? Just go. If you that bored, go get another job. Like,
Yeah.
what? Why are you wasting your time like that? But no, she was super supportive and really pushes me to do better in anything that I personally want to do.
She recognized you had a passion, and she's like, "Do it. I got your back."
Oh yeah.
So where is this fight taking place?
Uh,
What state?
it's like, I'm pretty sure it was like in Missouri, Arkansas area.
Of
I'm
course.
not exactly sure. It was somewhere like kind of south, like deep south.
And you're living in Florida at the time.
Yeah.
And can you tell me how you end up here? Do you email someone like the whatever?
I
What's this
just
called? Slap Fighting Championships?
Yeah, Sapphire Championships. It's where me and Ron came from. I just messaged their Instagram handle and then got connected to the promoter that runs the show. And he just sent me the details, got some details from me. We went back and forth for a while. And then he was like, "All right, everything looks good. Just come out to our event. We'll give you money for, your travel and everything. And we'll see how it goes from there." And it's been history ever since.
And Damien, you've never been slapped before this?
I've never done any type of organized fighting before this.
So the only time you've ever been hit in the face is if like you were like, "Okay, motherfucker, let's do this."
Yeah, literally in a street fight. Like, that was the only other time I've been hit in the face. So
Do
this
you
was definitely something new for me.
do you remember the first time you were hit in the face as a kid? In the
Honestly,
third
my
grade
whole life.
against that fucking punk Jake Chapman, that third grade, he pulled your hair and you're like, "Fuck you," and he punched you in the face. You remember the first time?
I don't remember the first time. I mean, technically I kind of do, but that was like very young, like probably like elementary school ages.
Yeah.
But ever since then, it's pretty much been my whole life of just taking hits, dishing them back.
Do you remember that thought? "Oh, I can take a hit in the face. That's not so bad." Because I remember getting in a fight at church one time. Kid pushed me down the stairs. I got beat up pretty good, but I went up there and tried to fight him. And afterwards, even though I got beat up, I was like, "Oh, that's not so bad."
Yeah, I don't think there was ever the thought of like, oh, I could take a hit. It was just, I'm going to take this hit, and then once I take this hit, I'm going to hit you harder, and we're going to see if you could take my hit. There's always the
Okay.
confidence of like,
Okay.
no, I'm gonna take this hit, but you're going to take my hit back.
Yeah. Yes, Kill Taylor. Excuse me, real quick, Judy. Yes, Kill Taylor is happening today. I do think
Kill
that
Taylor. Oh shit.
Taylor Self's diarrhea has subsided. I don't know. We do a game show at 8 a.m. every Saturday here. Kill Taylor. A guy does a workout, and if someone can beat him in the workout, we give away money. If not, the money rolls over to the next weekend. And yesterday we tried to do the show, and the guy had explosive diarrhea. So,
Oh god.
so it got postponed to today. Okay. So this guy's name is Tank the Frank, the most experienced guy. And is this? Well, listen to what the commentator says here. I was wondering if this is true. Listen to what the guy says.
Another thing you'll notice is that Frank the Tank has decided to use his left hand today. We've not seen that before out of Frank.
2, 3.
Was that really the first time he'd ever used his left?
Yeah, that was the first time that he used it in competition. I've come to find out later that he had been practicing with his left specifically to try it in a match. But either way, it was his technically non-dominant hand.
And so, it does. To be honest, it does look a little goofy. His swing looks a little goofy. I mean, compared to yours. I mean, yours is just like a fucking athletic masterpiece. Um, and then look at your. So this is the first time the heavyweight champ has ever been slapped in the face. What do you remember what year this was?
I think that was 2019, 2020.
Frank.
2, 3.
Okay.
I don't know. There's a bit of a gap between the video release and when the fight happened, so sometimes I get it mixed up. But it was a couple years ago. But I remember that hit. I'll probably remember that shit for the rest of my life. That was definitely the introduction into the sport, and my knees were wobbly, breath was shaky. I was feeling it that time, but just gotta keep pushing through it.
And I'm guessing the apprehension of that hit. People say the first time you do cocaine, it's never like that ever again. I'm guessing the apprehension for that hit surpasses the apprehension of every other. Now the other hits, each one becomes less and less.
Your first one is always the worst. Everyone says it in the sport. First one is always the worst. That's why it sucks if your first hit is against an experienced guy because you're probably getting knocked out. But yeah, that one probably shook me more than any other hit so far. Like I've definitely been rattled since then, like a little wobbly on my feet, but my legs were legitimately shaking the rest of that fight.
Yeah, crazy. And then I want to show how different your
A couple of weeks ago, he let us know that because the Bell had a lack of experience,
I mean, your technique is so different here.
Frank did not think
And
that
it's
it would
funny
be
because
fair to
they were
use his
teaching me this technique in the back before the fight.
right.
I had zero preparation or nothing.
That's
I was
just
in
the
the
type of
back
guy.
like 30 minutes before, like, hey, come on, you gotta get your practice in. Go and squat down like this, swing like that, good to go.
And God, those are some fucking mitts, dude. You have. And are you nervous the whole time that you're like I would be so nervous I'm gonna club the dude.
Oh yeah, I was very nervous. I'm pretty sure I got 2 stepping penalties this fight.
And what
The
does
reason,
that mean? Like you moved your feet?
yeah, like they're a lot more strict on like pivoting your foot. So I pivoted a bit on 2 of my swings, and it almost cost me the match just because of that. But it clutched it out somehow, some way. God, I
And,
haven't watched this fight in so
and,
long.
and up until this point, what have you slapped? Just like punching bags and bobs,
Nothing.
dummies, bobs.
Really nothing. I'd seen the videos. It was really like if you see something happening like a sideshow on TV and you're like, oh, I could do that. So you
Yeah.
sign up and try to do it with zero preparation. That's basically what happened here. Like my first match was purely just, these guys just show up and swing. I got that. I mean, it worked out, but
And look,
definitely wish I prepared a bit more.
now I feel like when your arm swings, Damien, it's more of a noodle until the end. Like it's got some it's like crazy whip.
Yep.
There, it looked like it's just stiff the whole time.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. Like I've definitely improved my technique a lot since my very first match. Like ain't no squat, ain't no nothing really in that. Just pure arm power.
And then
Piss out of you.
And then now when you fight, your fights are 5 rounds.
Yeah.
But in this league, do you just keep going until someone loses?
It's they used to do unlimited matches, but they stopped doing that because of health issues. So now they do 10-round matches.
Okay.
And they have a bunch of different things they do. I know they do 2v1s now, which is crazy. It's like 3 rounds for one person, 3 rounds for the next person against the same opponent. Yeah, that's crazy.
Meaning you don't alternate hits, it's 3 hits.
Yes, 3 hits with one opponent, and then you go around and 3 hits with the next opponent. So like 3 back and forth rounds with the next opponent.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's
Oh
like
my
3
goodness.
rounds here, 3 rounds here, and I think I don't know if there's more than that. But they've been doing a lot of crazy stuff, and I love every minute of it. If you haven't seen Sapphire Championships, definitely check out more of their fights.
So basically, they're exploring the sports in its infancy, and they're exploring.
Yeah, they're trying out a bunch of different things, and they've been doing it much longer than Power Slap has been around, even. So they've really locked in their niche of how they want their shows to run and everything.
I got another time code here. Let me pull this up too. What's this guy doing to your head here? What's this guy doing to your face? What's he doing? Oh, he's putting
He's taking the cotton. Got to have the cotton in the eardrum, like earways. Like, do not want to bust the eardrum out there.
So will that really stop an eardrum from getting popped if they slapped you in the ear?
Yeah. I haven't had any issues with my ears like ringing. I mean, I had tinnitus before that, but I haven't had any additional after like ringing in my ears or nothing. Surprisingly, my ears have been like completely unaffected. So it works.
And look at you're getting, and this is your, I think, the 7th or 8th round, and look at how much looser your arm is already.
Yeah, I started even in my first match. I started figuring out like, okay, maybe I should start swinging like this a little bit, loosen up until I get there. Like, start playing around with a bunch of different things. I liked starting out at Sapphire Championships because with 10 rounds and they're a lot more strict on the rules, you could play around with more techniques and different ways to strike, different ways to brace, and really hone in on what you want to do.
So you do this. How many fights do you do with them? With slap
3.
fight? 3 fights.
I rematched Frank the Tank with his right arm, and then I won by submission, surprisingly, in round 7 against the Hulk.
And then when do you make the leap? Or do you remember where you were when you heard that Dana White was going to start a power slap championships?
I was pretty sure I was at work when I got a message on Instagram like, "Hey, we're starting a new league. Would you be interested in signing up? Like, we'll actually pay you a pretty I ain't gonna say how much, but we'll pay you a decent amount to come, just participate in our first show." And then it was a TV show deal as well. Like, that was a crazy opportunity. I was definitely not expecting to get, but
they
it
reached out
worked
to
out.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And so somehow they got, did they email you or did they text you? Like, are you just here carrying a log and you feel your phone vibrate in your pocket?
That's way later on. I was actually working at a moving company back then. Yeah, that's what I do nowadays, just carrying logs back and
This
forth.
is savage, dude. Look at your size 16s. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, my boots look crazy when I'm out there working. Yeah, no, I was the funny thing is I don't usually do some goofiness like that. Like, I'll carry logs, but nothing that heavy.
That's a
And at the
fresh cut
very
wet log. That's a wet log.
yeah, that's a just drop. We were doing a job.
Oh
Like,
my.
that's what I do for work. And it's funny, at the very end of the video, my boss is like recording me, and you could just hear me say, "All right, I need some help, bro." Like, I can't get it in the trailer by myself. I can get it here.
And your boss has seen a lot of fucking crazy dudes do crazy shit, and the fact that he's filming this
Yeah,
means that it's what you're doing is absurd.
Why'd you let me do this?
Don't worry, I'm gonna record you while you do it. So.
You might actually help.
And in the sand, and you're walking in the sand.
Oh yeah, that was a rough job. My legs were feeling it after that one. But that's why I like doing it, just to keep me active throughout my day, and then come home, hit a nice workout, and that's like really how I get that full body workout every day.
And your hands must be just rough as shit too, the way you like them.
Oh yeah, my hands are very calloused. I tried buying gloves at the beginning, but that just didn't work. I'd go through a pair of gloves in like a week, if that. So I just barehanded now, and I'd try to lotion my hands up to keep them somewhat soft and not like cracking, but they still got some heavy calluses on them.
So you're at work and you get a contact. Had you heard about Power Slap before you got the contact?
I hadn't heard anything about the company who was running it. I just got like, here's how much we're going to pay you, and here's your flight information if you do agree with us. There was some back and forth with the producers of Slap Fight Championships because I was technically signed with them still. So they worked it out on the business end. For me, all I got was the payment and my flight, and that's pretty much all I knew before I showed up. So when I found out Dana White was involved and the scale of everything, I was absolutely baffled.
Were you a UFC fan already?
I had never watched the UFC before.
Oh, wow.
Honestly, I've still never really. I've watched one full event because they brought us to one, but
Mhm.
I've slowly started becoming a UFC fan, but I never really watched. I don't really watch sports. I like to participate, so I don't like boxing. I like
Yeah.
to box.
Yeah.
I'll watch football. I like to play football.
Those of us who are UFC fans, Dana White is like as big as any fighter. Like if he's not doing the weigh-ins, I don't even want to watch the weigh-ins. Like I'm totally bought
Jeez.
into, his persona and what he brings to the table and his character and his values. I'm totally, and so I could, if, yeah, but
Yeah,
still,
no,
you
it's
understood the magnitude if Dana White was involved.
Yeah, and I still know who Dana White is and how big the UFC is. Like I still knew like this is a completely massive scale, especially seeing the arena like where I started at and then where we're fighting at now. Like it was a very big change and a very big difference. I'd also only been to Vegas one time before I got flown out to there, and now I've been like 20 times.
And
Just
sorry, and you in the early days when you went out to this first fight, who was it against?
my first fight at Power Slap.
Yeah.
I was actually part of the TV show before my first fight, and
Mhm.
then I fought Dwayne Crespo, and he's actually like we're best friends now.
Yeah, that was a
Like,
crazy fight too.
yeah, that was a crazy fight, and the fact that we're now best friends baffles everybody. It's like, bro, that dude knocked you out. He's like, yeah, but he's chill about it. Like, and
Um, and you were an underdog.
yeah, surprisingly, I was the underdog for that fight.
Yeah, minus 200.
Yeah, it's because a lot of the people that were doing the betting and stuff didn't realize that I had previous experience. They just kind of saw me as another new guy they brought in, but so they a lot of people didn't realize that I had done this before and I was there as a competitor. They do now.
Yeah, and so this is your first fight. This second slap you do. Let me see if I can get to it. This is his first slap. Then you get a slap in, and I think is this your second slap here? Can you tell?
Yeah, second slap. Pretty sure. No, that's round one.
And you can tell by this little mark here.
Uh,
That little.
next to where it says slap, it says R1. That's where
Oh,
the
okay,
rounds are.
okay. Let me see if I can get to. Oh, and what do you say to him there after he hits you?
I'm pretty sure I just said, all right. Usually, whenever I get hit, I'm like, I give a rating based on my reaction. People know how I'm doing that fight. My wife loves it because she could keep track of how I'm doing as the fight goes on too. So if it's a good hit, I'll be like,
You ever give him a
Cook it a
number?
little bit.
Will you give him a number? Like
I
4 to
won't give
10?
them a number
No.
because that's too rude. That's too rude to do. You can't be ranking them by number. But if they get like the fist pound, they didn't do nothing. If they get the walk away, we got to fight. Then they usually hit me pretty all right.
And
Like I felt it.
God, look at these are some great stills. Do you have some great stills if you wound up?
Oh yeah, Power Slap's great with taking the photos of like the pre-swing. I have some photos actually of like right before the hit lands, and you could see like my forearms and everything glistening. It's amazing. I love them photos.
And this is a famous UFC fighter right here, the guy catching
Oh yeah, they have a lot of famous like ex-UFC fighters and stuff like that involved. I mean, hell, we got Mark Smith as our ref.
Oh, so do you know soon as that hits him? Do you know?
Oh yeah, you could tell the way someone's falling. Like if they fall down like that, they're pretty much not getting back up. And he was out. Like I don't think they show the rest of it, but he is out for a hot minute after that.
Yeah, what's that guy's name? That Griffin? Griffin? Do you know that?
Forrest Griffin.
Yeah, Forrest Griffin. Yeah.
Yeah, no one was really expecting me to do all that.
Yeah, and the blood's coming out of his face.
Oh yeah, it's a crazy. I don't know if I have a photo. Dwayne might have it, but they have a photo of like as the hit lands, you just see the blood shoot out his nose and him start falling.
Yeah, I think they even got it in the slow-mo here.
Oh yeah, probably. Oh yeah. Yeah, right there. They have a photo of that, and you see the blood starting right
Yeah, there it
under
is.
his nose. Yep.
Yep. Wow. Does he make a sound when you hit him, like a oof or a?
Usually you don't hear that sound. You
No.
usually hear the sound of the slap itself. Because if you hit a really good shot, it should sound like basically a gunshot going off right on the stage. Because they amplify it so much. Like it sounds just like as soon as it hits. And you hear it throughout the stadium. People love it.
What does your mom say?
She was surprised, but honestly not too surprised because I was always getting into some sort of trouble when I was a kid. So she was like, you know what? As long as you're happy and we see you making money doing it, so go have fun. Just don't forget about your main goals and what you want to do with your life and where you're really trying to get to.
There was this a few years ago. There was a famous speech, kind of, that Dana White gave, and he said, "Hey, remember, being a UFC fighter is not a career; it's an opportunity." And the way I understood that is it's an opportunity to leverage your time on the platform to parlay into something else in your future, whether it's to save money and buy a house or start a hot sauce business. Is that the way
Yeah.
you see this too?
Oh, for sure. This is actually how they mention it all the time, but this is how I'm trying to fund my law school career. Originally, I was planning to join the military. This is a lot more fun way to say I pay for law school. So I'm doing this to help pay for my law school tuition later on and hopefully buy myself a house as well.
Hey, why law school? Law school, being a lawyer is like so much work. They don't seem like happy people.
It's not fun work for a
Yeah.
lot of people. Me personally, I find the law very interesting. The way it really lives and breathes through every decision. Like you don't realize it, but 90% of your day is dictated by laws and lawyers who have argued these cases that set out how our modern society functions pretty much.
Right.
And seeing how that interacts with everything, it's very interesting to study. And personally, I'd like the opportunity to help give back to my community as much as I can later on. And I felt like being a lawyer and opening up that career path for myself to actually be able to really help people in the system that can't get help without it would be a very awesome opportunity for myself. And that's just what I feel like doing with my life.
What do you mean, like, help people? Like, a guy who's raising chickens gets his chicken farm closed down, but he's selling eggs to everyone in the neighborhood, but they're saying that it's illegal to have 10 chickens or more in the neighborhood, and you're like, no, fuck you. Everyone in this community loves them.
It's a little bit of that, but a little bit of just a lot of people that need legal representation are unable to afford good legal representation. And a lot of public defenders are just overworked. So either during the workforce as a public defender or doing my own private practice, helping out these people would be a very big it's a big thing for me.
What's behind that idea? Did something happen? Did you see your parents helping people, or you saw someone that got some injustice and you're like, fuck that, I got this chip on my shoulder, I'm gonna fix this?
I honestly don't know. Just even ever since I was young, I've kind of known that I wanted to be a lawyer. Just this is a career path that seems really interesting to me. Probably watched Suits too many times growing up. I might have done it. So just as I was growing up, this is just kind of where I felt like my heart lies and what I wanted to pursue. My parents told me pick some and keep at it with 100%, and that's just what I did.
Are you gonna have kids?
Eventually.
Yeah. And does your dad say anything about what you're doing? I just picture someone hitting my kid in the head, and I'm just like, ooh.
my mother definitely doesn't like to watch it, but my dad thinks it's awesome. He tells everybody about it. He absolutely loves it.
So he's proud of your focus, your dedication, and your success.
Yes. Oh yeah. he sees what I'm trying to do and where I'm trying to get in my life, and this is a very big way to push me forward in that, and the connections I'm making, the money I'm making, it's really helping me progress in my life.
When you go to these events, do you take your wife with you?
I try to. Some of the times it's kind of expensive to take her out there because the flights be crazy, like $1,800 for a flight for just the week. It's wild, but I try to take her as much as I can.
Yeah. I used to do a lot of for 15 years. I used to do a lot of video making, and my wife would be like, "Hey, you know," she'd be like, "Can I come or do?" And I'd be like, "Hey," I kind of also would be explaining to her, I'm like, "Hey, dude, it's not as fun as you think."
Yeah,
Like,
that's another thing. Like
I'm going to film
going
the
with
pyramids in
you.
Egypt. It's not fun. It's fucking work nonstop for a week. There's no like, I mean, it's fun,
Yeah.
but it's not like fun. It's not like you're not on vacation.
Yeah, you're not just sitting around eating bonbons by the beach, like having a grand old
Yeah.
time. I mean, a lot of fighters do that, but most of the time it's a lot of media obligations that you have to go out to, a lot of networking, a lot of, making sure that you're posting the right things, staying up to date, and also making sure your health is in order, making sure you're working out, getting enough sleep, very hydrated. Just it's a lot to maintain. Usually, though, I'm doing all this with a bottle of Fireball when I'm in Vegas. All the
No
fighters know
shit.
that. Yeah.
You-
Yeah, Vegas is like the one time I actually let myself drink. So I just go out there, drink,
Even before the
take
fight?
care of, not before the fights or anything,
Oh,
like
after.
before doing media and stuff like that. I'll take like a shot or two here and there. Like I'm coasting throughout all the media obligations I have usually.
Wow.
Because
You ever gone up on stage with a little swerve on?
oh no,
Okay.
I won't I won't do it for anything crazy like that. Just if I'm doing like a random interview that like it's my fourth interview of the day. It's already 6 o'clock. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm taking me a shot or two.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Um, so it's pretty obvious that you slap harder than most of the guys just by watching the fights. And then if you go to the Power Slap website, they got like some sort of measurements and stuff. But I saw this clip. What is this machine? Is this legit or is this gimmick?
It's pretty legit. It tests your power for on it's called a power cube. So you hit it and it has like a little target that you're supposed to hit, and it just measures how strong you hit compared to other people. And it's you kind of can't hit it as hard as you want to because there's been a couple guys that have hurt themselves because it doesn't cushion the hit very well, especially with the open hand strike. I'm pretty sure Pono broke his hand on it during the TV show that he was on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he broke his hand on it or something afterwards, but it will fuck your elbow up, your shoulder up. So
Oh,
yeah, so
because it
you
doesn't
hit
have
it.
the give that the head has.
Yeah, so you hit it hard, but you don't hit it with 100% or you're going to hurt yourself. Especially the day before a fight, just doesn't make sense to.
I want to pull up these. Do you hold some sort of record on that machine?
I don't think I have the record on it right now. I'm pretty sure it's Ellis. I'm pretty sure Brian Ellis has a record on it. It's like 80,000 or something crazy.
That's the human force thing.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't remember what I got.
and it sounds like you're not interested in holding the record on it either. It's not like the test.
It really doesn't
Not worth it.
prove whether you're going to be the best in the sport or not. Like that that does not tell you how well you're going to perform during a match because it's not your chin, it's not your real power because you can't hit that thing with everything. And a lot of the guys, honestly, most guys will not hit that thing with everything. God, not even 75% because of the
Right.
risk of injury. And they usually only have it when we're going to go fight, so it's not worth it.
Hey, and do boxers use that machine too, but just hit it straight on?
There's UFC fighters that use it. I'm pretty sure that's how they measured Francis Ngannou's
Ngannou.
Ngannou.
Yeah.
How do you say his last name?
Yeah, Ngannou.
Yeah,
They said like there was like this thing he hits like being run over by a Ford Ford Focus
yeah,
or something.
yeah. So Alex Pereira hit it because I mean they have it set up in the PI. I think it's PI. It's one of the buildings at the UFC headquarters.
When you go there, do you guys have access to the PI to go in there and train and get your body
Yeah.
work on and stuff?
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure you have access for the whole fight week.
They have a good cafeteria?
No.
No. So it's got hand width, human force. We saw that. Peak velocity. What is that, like the speed your hand's traveling?
Yeah, speed of the hand.
And how did they measure that? They got some sort of gun?
It's attached to the power cube. You tap, attach a little
Oh,
wrist strap, so it
okay.
just measures how fast your hand moves.
And then in neck force?
Neck
What's
force, that one was. It's a really goofy ass machine. I ain't gonna lie to you. You get on all fours
Uh-huh.
and just push with your neck against this little like pad they have set up. And you
Okay.
just push up against it to test your neck force. That was goofy.
Yeah, I see Goof too. And then okay, if there's anything else here, and then are you practicing? We've seen fights where a guy's hitting with his right hand and then his thumb breaks,
Yeah.
and he's got to switch hands mid fight. Do you have a backup hand? Like, is that lefty a backup hand?
Oh yeah.
Yo, you
I
do.
can
You
definitely
train it.
Yeah, I train it. It's definitely not as strong, but I could definitely use it in an emergency situation. I'm just the type of dude, I harden my hands enough that I don't think I'm ever going to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
But, there's always that what if scenario. What if someone just ducks their head and you break their hand on their skull? It happens. So, always got to stay ready in that circumstance.
When you go to these fights, you're taking slap fight cards and having the dude sign them?
No, the Sapphire cards are actually pretty recent. Are you talking about the trading cards?
Yeah, I saw some trading cards, and then I saw these, and I thought, oh, that's so smart. So
Yeah,
like,
those are the trading cards. Yeah, they just came out, so I haven't been able to bring them out to an event yet. I actually just got mine in last week. I got my one of one golden plate one.
and are these the actual hand sizes?
No.
No, okay,
They'd be some massive cards if that were the case.
okay.
Yeah, no, but they're very nice. They got the metal cards and everything. They high quality.
And as the sport goes, those might be a down payment on a house or something in the future.
Very possible. A lot of the cards are already selling for. I think my gold plate sold for 120, 140, and the box that of the cards is $100. So even some like one of eights are selling for like $50. So they're pretty immediate return on investment for a lot of these cards.
Dude, this guy, when you fought this guy, this Dorian Perez, he looked like he fell out of the movie Colors.
That's pretty accurate. Dude's a menace.
Yeah, he's wily. He got a little. In college, we had this meth dealer. We called him Pineapple. He rode a BMX bike, and he reminded me so much of Dorian. Like, you're like, fuck, dude, we just got to get the drugs off this guy and get him out of here as quick as we can. Like, you don't want him hanging around the house.
You don't want him staying around too close, bro.
No.
He gonna do something.
Yeah.
Man slapped me with butter before our fight. Like,
did he?
Oh yeah. If you ever go back and watch the weigh-ins,
yeah,
we're squaring off, and then he just pulls a napkin out of his pocket, it unfolds it real quick, and then just throws it at my face. We got so much trouble for that. Oh, that was hilarious though.
Does he get in trouble right there? Does he get scolded right there, right in front of you?
No, they took us to the back to scold us. Gotta do the scolding off camera.
Okay,
but it was funny.
Are you leaning on the table when you take a hit? I see most guys stand away from the table, but I see you got like your belt line and your junk up against.
Oh, you
the
have
table.
to.
You do.
They started focusing on that too when it comes to defense. You're supposed to have your waistline on the table. And if you don't, it's technically you're not doing it right. So they want your waist and your junk right up on that table.
Oh, okay. Because I watched so many fights last night and I don't see anyone leaning against the table. And I was like thinking to myself, is that a good see how you're up against the table like that?
Yeah, you're supposed to be doing that.
Because none of the guys you're fighting are doing that. They got a little gap.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. I don't understand why they've been doing that. Like, I have to do it, but certain fighters, they kind of get away with it. But, nothing you can do about it after the fact. Just try to talk to the refs and see if we could get that worked on for, future fights. But
I was thinking when you hit Wolverine, Ron, what's it, Ron Bata?
Yeah, Ron Beta.
Ron Beta. Oh, that's a tough last name.
Facts.
He got in a lot of fights as a kid. When you hit him, I like the way he kind of takes the hits. I mean, although you end up fucking his shit up, because he lets his body go. Like most guys, I feel like have too much ego and they don't want to show. When you hit him, he lets his body go, so it's like you're hitting, something that moves. But when you're leaning against the table, that's got to be harder to do.
Oh yeah, it definitely adds that aspect of staying still, but it's also just he was a light heavyweight fighter. He wasn't built for the heavyweight division to begin with. So when you start going into lighter weight classes, they move more. But to be a top ranked heavyweight, you got to stand still and take them slaps, or else you're going to lose a round. Because a lot of the heavy, like if you watch Dorian, me, Pono, a lot of these guys, if you want to win a round, you have to be standing still in that box when you're receiving, or else you're just going to immediately lose.
You through penalties.
No, not through penalties. Like if you get hit and you wobble out of the box, you lost that round.
Oh,
like,
you mean point wise? The judges are like,
point wise.
Oh,
yeah. Like if in the heavyweight division you want to eat shots and stay where you're at, because once you start moving and showing signs that you're hurt, you're going to lose the round.
Oh, so you can't even you get penalized for using that as a technique.
Yeah, like if you take a hit and just completely roll with it and like leave the box, they're going to see that, and if your opponent takes that hit and stays still, you're losing the round. Straight up losing the round.
Wow. Okay. Oh my God, that is so gnarly. When you
Here we are, the final round.
do you know do you like could you rank like of all the times you've ever slapped someone, like this is an 8.2 or this is like the third best slap?
It's up there because Ron's only been dropped a handful of times, so that was definitely one of my better strikes.
Weight belt.
What?
The champ.
Oh God.
On the line.
I have to
nowadays, but
say it again.
I don't think it compares to how I fight now, but it's for where I started. That one's definitely up there.
I mean, look at you once again. Look at that crazy body position you're in.
Oh yeah, it's a really weird body position, squatting, sitting back while throwing it. Like
look, your ass is behind your feet. Yeah, it looks like if someone just kind of touched you, you'd just fall over.
Oh yeah, but it looks wrong, but it works.
Yeah, I mean, you're coiled up like a mofo.
2. The final shot.
And it's crazy because you come from low, right? Because you're squatted, but then somehow it almost still looks like you loop down.
Yeah, it's a little like wave technique. Start low, hit high, finish low. So you're really driving in with that counterweight foot. Like my left foot is really driving into the ground to catch myself.
How many professional slap fighters are there?
In power slap right now, I'm pretty sure we just reached like 100 and something, 200.
Oh my goodness, there's that many.
I mean, there's like 7 divisions. Like there's a lot of fighters, and we've cut a couple people already. Like there's a lot of people that do this, and there's other leagues that do this now. There's an African league. There's a league in UK, Nigeria. This sport is really grown to lengths that a lot of people never thought it would.
Is there a main feeder? Could someone have never been slapped before and make it onto power slap, or
I think so. Yeah.
Really?
There's been quite a few guys that never done any sort of slap fighting and then get brought in. But now that they're starting to see that experience really wins a fight, and in power slap especially, they're starting to bring in like Zakir. He's a heavyweight that came from the Punisher League down in South Africa. So they're starting to bring in more guys from other leagues. Dumpling, he fought in Russia. We're bringing in more international guys, more guys that fought in different leagues to kind of help grow the sport.
Anyone from China?
I don't think anyone from China yet.
Yeah, I haven't
Damn,
seen
we don't have any Chinese, nothing.
any Asian bitch slappers.
Nah, I guess too smart for the sport, I guess.
Hey, can you hit with the back of your hand?
No.
No.
I would have loved to bitch slap somebody, but no.
Wouldn't that be great?
That would be hilarious. I don't think I'd lose after that. That's in my DNA.
Oh my God.
Wham!
Wham.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
What percentage better would you say you are today than you were 3 years ago?
Oh, 3 years ago, like
Yeah.
200% better, honestly.
Yeah.
3 years ago, I was working out, but I was not working out nearly as hard as I am now. I've put on so much more muscle and just mass since then. Like I was walking around 230, chubby as hell, didn't really have that much muscle. Like you saw my previous fights, but now I've definitely progressed a lot more than that. I've doubled most of my numbers in the gym from 3 years ago. Like I've definitely improved a lot.
What about your mobility?
Oh, definitely mobility. I was not able to run 3 years ago. I never really did like any training for flexibility or running or anything like that, but I've definitely worked a lot more on that as well.
I saw before one of your rounds, it was like I don't know which round it was, but as you walked up to the table, you did a deep squat. You went ass to grass. And I was like,
Oh yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. Like
Oh yeah. I've started doing that a lot more. Ass to grass. I do that for holds. I do it on the squat machine. Uh, I've really been trying to strengthen my legs a lot more because of the way I slap, and it's part of my technique. So hip mobility, hip strengthening, getting my quads, my calves, pretty much anything to do with my legs is getting stronger and more flexible. And that's just how I keep progressing.
any explosive movements like hand cleans or power cleans or any movements like that, like the popping the hip.
I do a lot of jump squats.
Mhm.
Do like sled pulls, uh, stuff like that. Nothing crazy, just stuff that you find in the gym.
In other interviews you've talked about maybe going into boxing. The cardio in boxing is like I don't think people understand. It's like fighters
Oh yeah, it's a whole nother thing.
otherworldly a cardio. Is that something as you get better and better at slap fighting? Is that kind of like wane? You're like, nah, I'm not fucking with that.
Oh no,
Oh.
if anything, power slap has made me want to do it more because I
Mm.
also see all the opportunities and other promotions that a lot of guys are getting that aren't champion level, and I'd really I love fighting, and slap fighting it's been fun. It's been great. I've been doing it for quite a while now, but I just feel like it's time to at some point transition into something a little more fun, a little more something I could be more active in. Because right now I'm only getting like 1 or 2 fights a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I fought 2 times last year. I think I fought two. I think I'm only going to fight like once or twice this year, if that. So I definitely would just like the opportunity to fight more because I like to stay active.
Why is you hold the heavyweight title?
Yep, it's finding contenders. Um, e- every time I bother them about getting me a fight, they're like, "Well, we gotta wait till you have a contender. We gotta wait till you have a contender. Like, there's nobody ready for you." I'm like, "Bro, just run rematches." They don't like giving me rematches. I haven't.
Or how
Everyone
about a
else I've gotten
Rocky
a rematch
story?
with.
How about just find Rocky? How about just find some crazy
Yeah,
dude who's willing to
just start picking people from the division. Like, just start going down the list. Let me fight everybody. But they want to make sure they have the right contender. They have the right person that deserves a title fight. So ain't nothing I can do about it but wait and keep training hard.
Is there anyone that contests that you're the hardest slapper?
Uh, I see. I feel like Vern has a running for it. Like, because Vern or Russell, they usually end every fight with a knockout or get knocked out. So I feel like those two they kind of think that they're up there as well. And I'd agree with them. I feel like if you had to name three of the hardest strikers, it'd be me, Vern, and Russell. Like, we're on that list somewhere for most people.
I'm going to show you 20 seconds in
The
here.
heavyweight belt.
After
The
you
championship on the line.
after you slap him out, there's something he does. So he goes down, and then there's something here. The ref gets him up. Oh God, and he's in cowboy boots.
Yeah, he fights in the cowboy boots.
Now watch what he does here with his right hand. Watch this. This movie does. Wolverine does. Watch this. That. What's that?
It's proving that he's like okay, just like I'm okay. I'm cognitive. I'm able to touch my head. Like,
Do
just
they
trying
ask you guys to do that, or he just made that up?
I don't think they ask us to do it, but I'm pretty sure it's like just a general thing of like, hey, I'm okay. Like, just like a kind of
Look,
light
I know
thing.
where my. But so if you're like, hey, look, I'm touching my chest, they're like, oh, you're fucked up. But you're like,
Yeah.
you're touching my head, you're good to go.
I don't get it, but yeah, it seems to work. He gets the ref's approval, so and I mean, bro was looking wobbled.
And so when he goes back there, when you go back there and you've been slapped like that, is he dizzy? Is he afraid he's gonna fall off the stage?
I don't know if he's afraid he's going to fall off the stage, but he probably is still a little rocked. A lot of guys will hold on to the chalk thing because it's
Yeah.
pretty sturdy, so a lot of guys will hold on to it. Coaches have been starting to pick up though that they could go and grab their fighters. So the coach will come up on the stage, put his arm around you, grab you or something, and be like, "Hey, let me walk you back. You got this. You got this." And like start giving you coaching, like advice, or just try and walk you through the recovery process, depending on how you're doing.
Yeah, and it sounds like from what you're saying is that you're judged a lot by how you take the hit. So your
Yes.
coach should he should always do it whether you're hurt or not, so that the judges can't really tell.
Yeah, it honestly would be better if you do it every time. But if you're doing good and you could walk back by yourself and ain't doing no damage, that's definitely better in my opinion. And they usually don't let you up there until your guy is already taking a couple of steps back towards you.
So what is the judging criteria? How do you choose who wins the round?
It's honestly sometimes the judges just be getting stuff wrong. I'll
Yeah.
straight up say it.
Oh, I
but
mean, you see it in the UFC. I mean, 2
yeah,
weeks ago, I saw a guy destroy another guy and he lost the fight. It was crazy.
it makes no sense sometimes, but it should be based on how well you receive a hit and
Yeah.
how well you give a hit.
Right.
So if you receive it, bam, no movement, good. And if you hit that other person and they take a step back or they get hit and they're like dazed for a second, but they don't move, but you can still see that they're dazed, then you won that round. So it's really the difference in receiving and giving damage.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure they take like giving damage, like if you knock them down or something, obviously that's going to count for more points.
You know how you'll hear like 70-year-old woman like falls down and dies, or like some dude's on an airplane and a piece of luggage hits him in the head and 3 days later he's dead.
Yeah.
You know those stories? Isn't it crazy like what you guys are doing to each other in that sport, in all the combat sports? But like there's like, I don't know, there's 30% of the population, if you hit them like you hit Wolverine, that would be it.
Yeah. I feel like that's the biggest difference. A lot of people, like, we know what we signed up for. We know
Yeah.
what we're doing out here. It's, you don't sign up for the sport if you don't think you're going to take a hit. Like, that's just simple as that. You really gotta be a different kind of crazy to do all this, because 2 for flinching is also an insane rule for this kind of sport. 2 for flinching on top of already standing there taking a hit, craziness.
The
But,
flinching, I feel so bad every time someone flinches. You must hate yourself when you flinch. You're like, what the fuck did I just do to myself?
Yeah, honestly, flinching hurts yourself more than it will ever hurt your opponent. Like, flinching is the worst thing you could do in a match, in my opinion, besides like straight up DQing yourself. Because not only are you getting hit twice, you're taking damage twice. The refs are going to look at both hits, so they got 2 chances to knock you down.
Yeah.
There's so many things that go wrong. Now you're also defeated in your own head, because now it's like, oh, are you scared? Like, you getting nervous now? So there's a lot that goes into it. Like, flinching is definitely
the worst thing you could be doing to yourself in a fight like this, especially when you only have 3 rounds to prove that you deserve to win.
This guy, Dorian Perez, clubs you.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, clubbing's what explain to me what clubbing is.
Clubbing is really just missing the target area, hitting with your palm either out like this or just up too high or too deep. So, or too low. It's supposed to be too low as well, but they don't usually call that for some reason.
But it's cheating.
Yeah, it's rough. It's definitely rough to go through. Especially when he's trying to take your head off and now you're getting palm strikes and the button like right on the jaw.
That wasn't the clubbing. I don't think that was the clubbing one. Let me see.
No, it was the one before that one.
It was the one before that one? Okay.
It was round 1. Literally the first hit of the match.
Oh, okay.
It was the first hit and then round 4, I think. It was either round 4 or 5. No, I'm pretty sure it was round 4.
Did he hit first or did you?
He hit first.
Okay.
Yeah, so he straight up started the match with it.
Here it is. Thank you. You get a producer's credit on this show. And look, he's even, and you can even tell because it doesn't follow through. It comes like straight back.
Yeah, you could see like it hits directly back there.
And then he clubs you again.
Yeah.
And then you club him.
Yeah.
Do you club? Is that like baseball? Like, all right, dude.
I won't lie. There's a little animosity after the second club.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was. I don't think it was on purpose or anything, but I was definitely pissed off after the second time.
Yeah, so if anything, you get a little less precise. Some guy just cheated. That's like the worst thing you can do, right? Club someone.
Yeah, it's the worst damage wise. Like flinching's bad on defense, but striking, clubbing is pretty bad, comparable to stepping because you don't want the pivot. But either way, both suck. Both suck to go through on the receiving end. But 2 times in a championship fight where they've been hyping on everybody to keep it clean because they've really been trying to keep these matches clean. Can't do that in a championship fight. And personally, you club me twice, I'm gonna get pissed off.
Yeah, and at that point, you're kind of, if you're in a championship fight, that's really sloppy. It's almost impossible to win once you've clubbed someone twice if you don't knock.
Yeah, if I didn't club him back, I probably would have won that in like a very big decision. Like it wouldn't have been as close as it was if I didn't club him back.
Right. But your corner, your coach wasn't like, all right, club this motherfucker.
No. It was never on purpose. It was definitely just like a part of being rattled already from 2 clubs. Like, because I'm usually fine from any other normal hit, but whenever I get clubbed, that's when it starts, fucking with your head a little bit, and you start getting angry, upset up there, and then you just start swinging.
Yeah. The
technique starts falling. That's why you also notice in my 4th round, my techniques was a lot more sloppy than the previous rounds. You start swinging, and that's never what you want to be doing up there.
Because what you want to be doing is precision
based on your technique, what you've been training to do. You have your things that you have drilled in your head. It slipped a little bit on the 4th round, got it back in the 5th round, and came out with the win. But definitely need to drill more into just keeping, no matter how rattled you get, you keep that same technique, or even change it up. Make sure you have your set of techniques that you can go to, because a lot of fighters also, they'll go and strike 2 rounds and nothing happens, and they have no other techniques to try. They can't try with their left hand. They can't try striking up or down. Like, having the ability to switch up your technique on the fly when you notice your opponent's eating every one of your hits already is a really slept on part of the sport that I feel like a lot of fighters should really be pushing to do more.
More tools in your arsenal.
Exactly.
Like, shit, this isn't working on a guy who's 5'10". I'm going to switch to this. Oh, this isn't working on a guy who's 6'2", or shit, this guy's got a strong chin. I'm going to switch it up here.
Exactly.
You ever lose a tooth?
No.
Anyone ever lose a tooth?
In Power Slap? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Sapphire Championships for sure. I
Everyone,
know someone lost a tooth there.
everyone's got crazy mouthpiece in.
Yeah, they all get like custom mouthpieces. I have like 5 sitting in my house that I don't use. Excessive amount of professional
Mouth
grade
guards.
mouth guards. Yeah,
So you don't have a fight, Damien, scheduled? Nothing.
nothing right now. Nothing to announce. Still just waiting in the sidelines for
All
an
right.
opportunity.
Well, dude, you're of the, I don't know, the little bit that I've dabbled into the sport. All the guys I've met are great.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, all the guys are great. Crazy Hawaiian's great. I had one of your the contenders in your weight class. He was great. Anyway, thanks so much for coming on. I'll be following, and I really appreciate your time and letting us get to know you, man.
No problem, man. It was a great interview. Thanks for having me on.
And congratulations for having a great woman. It's always every great man needs a great woman.
Thank you. She's definitely gonna appreciate it.
All right, brother. Have a great day.
All right, you too, man. Peace.
All right, ciao. If you're gonna watch slap fighting, go watch that guy's fights. The other guys have been great, but after watching this dude, my perspective, holy shit, man. The thing Sevon is into. Disc golf. God, I do not do disc golf at all. I think disc golf is, I mean, for me personally, I do not enjoy playing disc golf at all. I don't even think I don't consider disc golf even frisbee. I don't even consider is this uploaded? Is the new I don't even consider disc golf frisbee. Slap fighting. Hose from OnlyFans. I mean, how about dudes who cure cancer? How about do I get that? The real Matthew. I may have missed it, but it looks to a lot of people hit with the palm or meaty part of the outside of the hand. Is that allowed? Shit. Should ask that. Yeah, there's only one frisbee. It's 175 gram Discraft frisbee. Everything else isn't frisbee. I don't know what it is, but I think that game is stupid. I think golf. I think golf is stupid too. For me, if you want to do that, you can. I just don't. I mean, shit. I used to think tennis was stupid, and I learned to like it. But what am I gonna do? Thank you for booking a one-on-one consultation call for tomorrow night. Oh, we recommend that you have a computer. Oh, okay. My YouTube meeting tomorrow. Station's back on the rise again. My kids love it when I have slap fighters on because the night before, I'm just in front of the TV just watching slap fighting shit. They love that shit. I don't know why. I guess everyone likes watching someone get cracked. Smartest money you've ever spent. Will run for brownies. Very smart. I think episodes 1 through 5 are up. Of behind the scenes. All right, Kill Taylor's up in 12 minutes. Let me see how his butthole's doing. How's your butthole, Taylor? Fine. Oh, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good. We were trying to get him to do Kill Taylor today in tighty whities. The only other option is Wednesday. So, oh shoot. How's Ari's foot? Great. One of my kids might have to go to the ER today. All right, I should go. I only have 12 minutes. I got to get ready for this shit. Oh, man. Yesterday, my kid was in the backyard. I don't have any thorns in my backyard except in the back where the citrus trees are. And he was back there and he stepped on something and he comes running out of there howling. There's no thorn in his foot, but the bottom of his foot's bleeding. There's not even a puncture wound. I don't even know what happened. And then last night before he went to bed, he starts crying. He said, "My foot's throbbing." And you can see his that pointer toe, this one. This one. The one next to the big one. It's all swollen and shit on him. Episode 4 of the behind the scenes isn't out. No, it's out. Episode 5 is out. 1 through 5 is out. You just have to be a member. You have to be. Are you a member? You have to be a member. I think you have to be a member. I hope you have to be a member. Maybe something is in there. I know. How would I know if something's in there? I know that's a great question. Maybe something is in there, but he won't let me touch it, and I can't even see the hole. I can't even see the entry point. I can't even see where it was cut or where it was bleeding. Snake bite, bee, spider. I know that's what I would. That's so crazy you say that. I was wondering if maybe he stepped on a yellow jacket or I don't know. But it was bleeding bad. I mean, not bad. Like once you, I mean, it was not bad, but it was bleeding like for 45 seconds, and then once you wiped it away, it just stopped. For the behind the scenes, it is going from 1 to 3 and then 5. Oh, okay. I can ask. I'll ask. Thank you. Is episode 4 behind the scenes live for members? All right. Thanks for joining me this morning. I'm going to go refill up my Paper Street coffee, and then I will see you guys in 10 minutes. Episode 4 is in there. Oh, there you go. Oh, there it is. Episode 4 is in there. All right. Feedback's great. I haven't heard one bad thing about it. I'm pretty stoked. I did not think I did a very good job. Patrick Rios must have done a great job at editing. It was a weird year, people. It was a weird year. All right, yeah, and get a quick standy. All right. I'll see you guys in 9 minutes. Bye-bye.